but we're recording. This is Storm King or the campaign. This is Avatar
Take
Legends.
two.
Yeah, this is Avatar Legends: The Blooming Lotus, episode 13. I didn't come up with an episode name, but finale. Who wants to give the recap?
Started blasting.
Yeah, following up the episode, murder is the answer.
Okay.
AKA TPK.
I can give it a try, but honestly, I didn't know. I noted generalities. I don't know many names of either characters or places. So you guys are gonna, if I say something, you guys are gonna have to chime in to remind me of names and place names and character names.
Okay. Yeah.
So in any case, Yayo woke up from a daze where he, man, there's some lost time there. I don't know what the heck I was doing in the meantime. We were going to go warn a town about the Red Lotus. And what was the town's name? Sorry.
That was Naupai.
Elfu.
Or Zaofu. Yeah, Zaofu.
So we were going to go warn the leader of Zaofu about the attack by the Red Lotus. Unfortunately, and everything was going great. We got in immediately. Unfortunately, we were just a teeny tiny bit late because we get there and the lady is twisted up, unconscious and twisted in dark spirit vines. And our favorite three antagonists are once again in our faces, snarking at us. In any case, let's see, name Gage. That's your character name, right? Yep. Gage decides that big guy who's the actual spirit master there is a weak link because he's a bit more idealistic than the other two and does some good back and forth trying to convince the guy that everything is destructive. And all the rest of us sort of pitch in, but Gage is leading the conversation about, no, this is pure destructive. You can say this is for idealistic. What's actually going to happen does not match what you're doing in any way, shape, or form. And sure enough, the big guy sort of looks troubled and eventually agrees with you and sort of steps over towards us like he's going to defect. Well, unfortunately, hold on. Kill that.
So Gage did, he was laying into, he was monologuing to the villains, telling them they're wrong, and he did in this kind of convincing display of charisma, managed to turn the needle in Atka's mind for him to realize that the Red Lotus isn't living up to the bargain that he thought they were going to, and so he responded and stood up to Wei Ji. Basically said there has to be another way. Like, we're gonna merge the spirit worlds together, or we're gonna merge the spirit and the physical world together. There has to be a way to do that. So much destruction and these spirits getting aggravated.
Yep. So in any case, while that's happening, Sachcha is fiddling with his spirit modification device, trying to see if he can't do something that would release the mayor and hopefully, gain us another ally. The turning point came. His ability to use the device came at the same time that Gage successfully turned the other guy. And so that sort of kicked things off as Sachcha got close and actually managed to successfully use the device, which turned the vines from black to green, but she was still unconscious and in the vines. So, like I said, that sort of kicked off the aura, of course, no surprise. Led with fire and tried to burn up the enemies while Yayo rushed forward and...
Very specifically, I used my fire to close the gap so I could catch her before she fell to the ground.
Yeah, which you did.
Hello.
You're just always flashy about it.
Ura was at the point where he had gotten around to the other side where the mayor was, opposite from where we came in. And so on the other side of these three Red Lotus people, but then Wei Ji sort of circled around him, so is now sandwiching. Found himself fighting both Yuka and Wei Ji for a second there when we decided it was time to make our escape. So we got on Tycho's back, several people having to sort of leap on as we were flying by. We then got everybody on and burst through a window, some sort of giant picture window in this room we were in. We then started flying across town and very shortly after that, we started being pursued by some large white spirit creature that may be Ankou. I was not 100% sure. He didn't have like a name tag, but he was larger and more impressive than the other spirits we had been seeing. We then Sachcha off of Tycho after we swooped a bit low so that he could go pick up a part he needs for his spirit device in his parents' shop, and then proceeded on a little bit of a chase trying to stay ahead of Ankou. Sachcha had his own little exchange with this annoying customer who apparently is a regular in his parents' shop, but he was able to retrieve the part and avoid the worst of the impositions of this customer.
Yeah, Mr. Frank
then-
and his reticulating plungers.
He then picked him back up, and at that point, the Avatar basically had arrived and had engaged the White Spirit. But there were a bunch of Dark Spirits at this point who had aggregated or congregated around. And so while she was making some headway against the Spirit, the other minor Dark Spirits were also attacking her, and that was causing her to begin to lose the fight. So Jin said that we should go in and try to take out the little spirits to take the pressure off Korra so that she could continue to fight Ankou, and then told Gage that I should actually take care of Nuala this time, which shouldn't be too hard because last time I physically blasted her in the face with an air slice. So all I have to do is avoid doing that. I will have 100% improved my interaction with her in combat.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. You never know, but yes. Yeah, she
So,
did.
and also, I think they were basically fighting in the air. So, as we were sort of swooping in on Tycho, it was not entirely clear how we were going to conduct this fight, since everybody was going to wind up being on Tycho's back, unless some of you have the ability to fly, and I am unaware of it.
Yeah, the portal frequency modulator got overloaded by one of the bad guys.
Yeah, wait.
And I cut a hole in the glass so Tycho could get out, but it caught my cloak on fire, and I used the tapestry to put it out, and then took the tapestry with me and stuck it somewhere in the pawn shop to be sold. And I'm getting ready to push my luck to see if the new power source will work.
Yeah. And one thing to add is that Su Beifong is still on Tycho. She is
Right, and unconscious.
Yeah, she is. So Yeo used refresh, and she was stirring, but she's still kind of out of it.
Right.
So
And she's got to live because that's the only way I can be the assistant minister of technology.
Right. Also, I don't know that she's mayor so much. This is the city of the Metal Clan, and she's head of the Metal Clan. But I don't think she administers the city. I think she's a little more like royalty above that level of doing the day-to-day work that a mayor would do. Yeah, she has assistant ministers galore to do all the actual work.
Right. Even better. That even increases my odds of getting appointed. Then that's great.
Maybe you'll luck out, and the actual minister of technology will be dead after all these dark spirit attacks. There'll be an opening.
Promotion.
I don't want that kind of responsibility.
Well, still, if there's an opening there, everybody below him has to move up. So
good.
should create an assistant position.
Right.
Yeah. So with
So
that,
it would be helpful for you to describe the scene again of
Yeah.
Korra fighting, since again I'm not sure what the logistics are going to be of how we're going to conduct this fight.
Yeah.
But apparently, Ura's going to start by just coming in blasting.
Listen, I see nothing
That's-
wrong with this. It
All right.
seems like it would be useful. That's all I'm saying.
So you're on the back of Tycho, and you're looking at, you're kind of about 150, 200 feet in the air, and you're kind of in the upper area of these skyscraper type structures, and you see Korra, you see a figure in white, and kind of wreathed in this white kind of light flame kind of aesthetic. You see they are engaged, and they've kind of got this trail of light and kind of flame-ish light that kind of follows them as they fly around. And you see they are engaged with what appears to be this large. Show the picture again. This large white spirit with this kind of these tendrils, and it's got this green eye that is kind of centered in this kind of black void, Vanta black kind of darkness, and they are kind of colliding at each other, and they're causing a lot of collateral damage. Like when chunks of buildings are flying off. You have they aren't really like worried about where they're actually going. Like they're just focused on each other and the conflict. And so Janora has taken off, and she has more wingsuit. So she, as she jumps off of the back of Tycho, she spreads her arms outwards, like there are it's like almost like a squirrel suit. So she like takes flight into the air as she kind of wheels around, and you see her stand on one of the skyscrapers, kind of near-ish, but not like directly not directly getting attacked or in the path of destruction. As you would be wheeling closer, like that, the spirit, this white spirit, you realize like that it's actually a man, and it's just that it's almost like this. It's almost like its presence has almost like a physical manifestation. You can kind of see like the silhouette, not quite a silhouette, but like some shape of a man in the center of this thing. They are flying into buildings. They are taking no heed for anything around simultaneously. So as you guys were flying away from the Beifong estate, there's this large pillar of light, and I actually got cool. I did not turn on global. Let me fix that. You should be able to all see it. Maybe not. Turn those off.
Everything went dark. Oh.
Yeah, so like you see like shooting, you saw shooting, behind you there was all these spirits that were like circling around this portal, and they started coming at you. Now they're all over. They diverted, and they're currently picking away at Avatar Korra. So you have them fighting, but you also have all of these other spirits that are like kind of diving in and taking nips and bites and like hitting her this way and that way. You would guess that there is easily hundreds. Like it is really a lot.
Odo's way at the back of Tycho.
Getting a snack. I'm listening.
Sachcha, can you retune this portal to make the spirits less angry?
I will try.
And then I'm going to fly towards the portal then.
So this portal is actually the one that is coming out of the picture isn't perfect. What that fun state, and the dark spirits have come this way, but like this is kind of what you would be seeing in your purview.
I see. So that's like way off in the distance.
Away.
Yeah.
We may want to try to at least turn the spirits here to neutral.
Right. Although
Right.
positive would be good.
Yeah, I'll take
Don't
positive.
aim too low.
This would be good. Funny that, yeah.
All right. So you're gonna turn the spirits to try to turn them to positive.
Yeah, that would be my ultimate goal.
Okay. So what does this look like?
I've got my portal frequency modulator that I forget what the power source, the extra power source I grabbed.
Yeah,
It was a piece of the spirit vine.
Yeah. So now it's like supercharged, or it's like you feel like it just has far more energy than what the previous power source had.
That's right, because I had to contain the power source. That's what the thing was.
Yeah.
Okay. So I imagine it's probably some kind of like backpack or something that I've got, like a Hello Kitty backpack.
Hello Kitty, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I was picturing this slowly morphing into like a Ghostbuster style proton pack.
Right.
Yep, the Avatar version.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
for you to wrangle the spirits with.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
you could absolutely have a back. I imagine
You're wearing an unlicensed spirit vine on your back. Doesn't have the same impact as, particle accelerator, but oh well.
Yeah, you need to watch Legend of Korra.
Ray. Ega.
Yeah, and then on Thursday is the season premiere of the live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Will not be anything related to spirit vines. Probably.
No, but it will have bending.
Right, sponsored by Netflix.
Yeah. Thanks, Netflix. Like you needed my help. All right. So Sachcha, make a push your luck roll.
Yes.
I'm guessing you put that point in passion.
How did you guess I would do such thing? Yeah, here we go. Ooh.
All right. Costs you to scrape by. That is, unless Ura or someone else is willing to help and take the help action, and that would make it a definite at the cost of a fatigue.
I don't have anything to do on the back of Tycho, so I'll be happy to take the help action and.
Yeah, I mean, I just got some fatigue healed for me though, so it might be worth it for me to just go ahead and use it.
It does. Yeah. It costs a fatigue, and I was thinking Ura because like he has his spiritual connection, but if you can think of a way that Yale could influence this, I think that would also work.
Yeah, if Ura goes for it, I'm gonna let him because honestly, I've only run with this crowd for a week. It's like a hell of a week, but he doesn't know them that well.
Yeah, I'm happy.
So yeah, if Ura goes for it, I'll let him do it.
All right, so
I'll just sit like cross-legged right in front. All right, let's do this.
All right, so with your energy source now. And this, like, your whole body is just like coursing, and Ura, you can tell that this is definitely more. This is almost looks a little too much because his hair starts to stand on end. Like it's how long is your hair?
Like Yahoo Serious.
Yeah, that's an old reference. Dustin remembers Yahoo Serious.
That predates me. So is that
Yahoo Serious?
Is that like shoulder length, like longer?
Yeah, it just like frizzes out.
Yeah. So it just his hair is now standing on end, and like unlike so before when you would see Sachcha use this modulation device, like you would see kind of arcs of kind of blue, like lightning, electricity, kind of circling around his head. Now it's pink, and his backpack has this pink glow coming out of it, but a pulse like a pulse wave just like a shock wave of just like this pink energy just pulses through the air, and it hits a bunch of the spirits. Now there's like over 100, so I would say that like even with this supercharged source, you wouldn't like get all of them. I'd say that you'd at least be able to get like half of these spirits like are stunned. They start to turn from this translucent kind of dark color to a lighter kind of more pastel color palette, and they start to just kind of fly away in different directions and just get out of there. So you manage to get a bunch of them, but that has got all of their attention. So the remaining ones they're like kind of doing this wheeling and like circling thing, and like the remaining ones now start coming towards you.
I think that's my cue.
So I guess because in the Avatar world, it's always like two animals combined. So
Yes.
I'm thinking like a hawk and a ferret. So a fawk. So they have like a ferret's head with hawk wings, and they start flying away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're fucking flying.
Fuck, that's horrible.
Look at that flying fuck.
Get that fuck up there just
Fucking
flying.
off.
This is why we're not in charge of the show.
This is why we should be after we watch it.
Nice. So you now have the undivided attention of the spirits, of the remaining dark spirits.
Right. So they are not going to attack the Avatar.
Now we fly away from them, make them group together. Way easier to blow them up that way.
As when I says that, I would say, "Hey, Otka, is there anything you could do to placate these spirits? Better to not blast them away."
If you fly low near the Yangtze, the Yang River, I should have enough. I should be able to use some of the. I should be able to have the water source that I need, enough water to at least placate some of them.
I'll steer in that direction, down and towards the river.
Yes, I get to be party cleric if I see an opportunity to evade and observe in order to do that. So,
Okay.
and I presume you're the one who came up with the character icon there. That's about right. What?
I did. The description that you gave originally was a young, scruffy man in commoner's clothing.
Yep, that's him. Sorry, I'm not good with images or finding them, so I'm glad you found something that worked.
All good. Starts like kind of motioning and water bending, just like as much water as he can from the river, and he says, "Okay, get it closer." And
I will do that.
and as you're kind of flying, you've got these just kind of streaks of water that are like following you, that are being pulled from the river.
I mean, I could instead of just blasting them directly, like blast around them to sort of group them together.
Yeah, because as is, they're like chasing after you at this point, like because you got their attention and that they've seen that you can do some damage, so they would be chasing you. So like I imagine anything you do is probably got to be either close to top speed at this point. So
Yeah, my thought would be just to try and funnel them all into groupings, bigger group as possible, so that they could be affected more easily.
okay,
Obviously, nobody wants to be blasted by fire, so if it starts like blowing up near them, they'll probably sort of veer away, and so I could just sort of corral them
Okay.
into a spot.
so so you're gonna like kind of try to kind of kick off blasts.
Yeah, sort of volley it around them,
Okay.
so sort of make them, corral them into a more narrow space, so that they can be affected more easily.
Okay. Make a rely on your skills and training.
It's a focus move, huh? Yeah, okay, it should be okay. Where'd it go? I accidentally minimized it, now it's disappeared. Oh, there it is.
Nice.
There might be some collateral damage.
Oh, I didn't need that.
So you're going in top speed, and if you're doing this, like I could just be like, we'll say, I need them still long enough for me to kind of get this I need them still just for like a few moments. It starts tipping.
That was an accident. I hope that building wasn't very important. I got nothing I can do to stop it.
So like, well, I'll say like, if you don't like kind of rein in your direction a little bit, that's what will happen. You can kind of not do that and market fatigue to not potentially destabilize the building further.
Of course, I got a market fatigue. Yeah. I do it.
All right.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So your fireballs kind of hit, and it just like hits the side of this building, and instead of the exposed support beams in the middle, and you're able to kind of corral, and to some extent, like all of these spirits, so that they're kind of this sphere that's maybe like 35 feet in diameter. They're kind of like in this kind of imperfect, but to keep them there, like it's gonna take constant effort while he's doing this, because otherwise they're just gonna try to like get out again. So Atka he closes his eyes, and he has this, and he's taking the water that he's brought out of the river, and he starts kind of forming it around the spirits in kind of this helix formation, and it starts wrapping this golden light kind of around this kind of amorphous blob. And that is when you hear the sound of, well, Ura's never heard this sound before, but I'd say Gage probably would, and Gage and Yale probably, and maybe Sachcha. No, actually, yeah, Gage, Yale, and Sachcha would, but Ura, like this is still something that's kind of outside of Ura's time a little bit. But you hear the sound, this roaring engine.
That seems weird.
And you see...
Look around for a plane.
You look in the direction of where the sound is, and it's kind of like reverberating off all the buildings. So it's kind of hard to place the exact location. But after a few moments, you see a plane kind of zip out of one of the around one of the buildings. And it's one of those old style planes where like you have the top, or you have like the open top that you're sitting in, and it's kind of got the
is it double wings,
the
like
double
layer wing?
Yeah,
Biplanes.
the biplane.
Open
Is that what
canopy.
they're called?
Yeah, biplane.
Yep.
Yeah, so you see a biplane kind of shoot around, and whips around this corner, and a gout of like a ball of fire just hits right into the center of these dark spirits, and like whipping around, you see Yuka driving, flying this plane, and she's gonna also just, there is gonna be errant. She shoots a few other errant fireballs your way.
I was steering towards you, ramming speed.
Hopefully that propeller doesn't fuck us up.
So this kind of this kind of burst of flames, it distracts Atka long enough that the water falls down and are kind of frenzying once more. But pilot him. So is your goal to ram the biplane?
I mean, at the moment, I'm trying to catch up to her. Like, basically, I know we have to. I don't want to kill her, but I would like to do enough damage to a wing that she's forced to set down.
Okay.
I got a question. Is there an extra seat in the biplane or not?
In this one, no, there isn't. This isn't a two-seater.
Oh, okay. Darn. I could try.
It doesn't mean
That's
you
'cause
can't jump onto it.
Jump in with her and distract the hell out of her, but I'm not going to try to wing walk when I don't have a way to stick to it.
Yeah.
Got hands.
Does Sachcha have like a glue bomb that we could throw down?
Throw it into the propeller.
Can I make a assess the situation roll to
What are
figure
you-
out where the plane might be, most vulnerable?
Sure. But before we do that, so with your roll, Kurt, or with your roll, Gage, I'd say you'd be able to catch up to her. There are dark spirits hot at your heels that are going to, they're going to get in your way. They're going to, they start globbing on, you're starting to, they start globbing onto Tycho, and they start globbing onto him, and it's starting to bring him down a little bit. If you like kind of focus a little bit more to dodge them, they won't quite get a hold and not like weigh him down, but you need to spend a fatigue, otherwise he's going to start kind of grounding or slowly descending.
Okay, I'll spend my last fatigue then.
All right, so you have caught up to, you're flying in at ramming speed, and you kind of dodged around these dark spirits, and you're not, I would say you're gaining on her, like you're like going faster than she is. At this point, she's probably a good like 40 feet in front of you, and you're gaining. So close enough where there are things there. You're close enough, but you're not so close where you're like gonna hit the plane like right this second. You have some time. So Yale, you're looking for a weak spot on the plane.
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
to assess the situation, I have casing the joint, so I get to ask additional questions. And one of them would be, who or what is most vulnerable to me? But I presume I have to have a roll, right?
Yeah. Make us assess the situation.
Alrighty. Well, my creativity is still base, but we'll give it a shot.
That's
Just a hit. Okay. Well, again, because of my additional move, casing the joint, I can ask an extra question, and the extra question is going to be, who or what of that plane is most vulnerable to me? Let's see. Actually, yeah, it says to me. Darn it, I can't necessarily expand it to my allies, but
yeah.
who or what of that plane is most vulnerable to me?
So I think there are two options here, and it says most vulnerable, but I think I'm going to give you two options of things that would occur to Yale. The first option, you figure that you could, if you were going to bring the plane down, that would be a very good place to go about it. So one thing that Yale could think of would make, I've got this wine, and I've got this I can turn this wine into ice. Maybe I could slow down the propeller or affect the propeller somehow if it could just get to the front of the plane.
Okay.
Or like it's got like propellers on the wings. So you figure if you could just get to one of them, so you could kind of make it go off kilter.
Okay, well, I'll say, get me close to a propeller, and I'll sort of limber up ice down a wine skin and limber up my throwing arm.
See him winding up.
Okay, if necessary, sure. I was actually thinking if I could partially freeze the wine, it would be almost like hitting the propeller with a slush ball. Who knows?
I'd say that your technique that you practiced is around like you using your physical breath and not necessarily like creating
Okay, fair enough.
slush balls.
Fair enough. Too bad I can't breathe it in her face. I'll have to try to ice down a propeller instead. Oh,
Well, if nothing else, it's flammable.
All right. So, what does this look like? Like, how close? Like, I would think in order to like get that close to it, you either have to be right next to it, which you got this kind of spinning mechanical blade near, Tycho,
or is this entirely us hanging on by our hands and feet?
I imagine that there is a saddle, like essentially like it's almost like a little raft that is strapped to his back that people
Okay.
can ride in. The person who pilots him usually has to sit around the neck to hold reins, but everybody else sits in the saddle.
Okay. I'm going to, since I know he can't get Tycho too close to the blades, I'm going to present my neck for chopping. Basically, I will grab onto the saddle has straps. I will grab onto the straps and make my way sort of where I can lean way the heck out from Tycho. Get me closer. I want to be decapitated. Get me closer.
All right, that's awesome. I
No,
love
it's
it.
not your time yet.
You still have so much to live for. And being such, like, I think this is a push your luck because there's a lot that could go wrong.
Okay, let's see. Passion. Fortunately, I bought up my passion, and because this is an answer to my previous casing the joint, I get an additional +1. I will add that in now before rolling.
Nice. Wow. There you go. So yeah, manages to hold themselves down on the saddle strap as they kind of go on the under of Tycho, and you got these large propellers just swapping in your face, and you're like, I imagine maybe you're holding on with like one hand because like you just can't get close enough, and so you're just trying to get that little extra reach, and then you like one hand like kind of cliffhanger style.
Yep.
Where you hang in and you got your other hand and you get on your wine skin and then you blow it in. Lock up this engine, and the plane just starts. It just starts kind of going. I guess it would just start like kind of tilting downwards, right? Am I imagining that correctly? Like if one half stops, it would just kind of start.
You're the wrong guy.
Yeah.
No, so if the other engine is strong enough, it will carry it to the ground easily enough, but it will start to lose altitude. Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of
wanted to list to the side. You need to just cut off one thing.
Gotcha. All right, so at this point, it is not listening to the side. It is
Descending. Yeah.
It is descending, and it doesn't look like it's in a position much to really maneuver to like come back up and ascend or wheel back around very easily. But yeah,
I'll keep blasting at these guys, at the others, like just to keep them corralled.
And I assume we've lost the water, so I will start flying back down towards the river.
Okay. So yeah, you're kind of full speed ahead. I meant, where is Sachcha kind of sitting? Like, what is he doing in this at this moment? Is he observing? Is he watching? Is he trying to fiddle with his modulator?
I mean, it's giving off like a whole mess of energy, and I would to focus. And the plane, does the plane look like it's losing altitude? Does it look like it's going to probably not crash? I imagine. Who was manning the plane again?
Yuko was manning the plane.
Mayor's daughter from Republic City.
Oh, okay. She's in the plane, and then we obviously the portal, and then we have the strange green eye Banta Black Void thing.
Yeah, they are still duking it out. You're hearing just rumblings and kind of just like concussive sounds as like just buildings are being knocked into.
So is any of her other? Didn't she have one more person in her crew? Because we turned one person.
Yeah, there was
Yeah, the guy in the gray robe.
Wei-Ji, something like that.
Wei-Ji.
Yeah. Do we see him?
You did not see him, though you did see in the kind of the spirit there was like silhouette
Image.
of a
Okay.
person.
Okay.
And it was established that Ankou and I forget the guy's name, but like Wei-Ji is just the new name of that guy who you read about in the library,
Okay.
who had devoured Ankou at one point.
You.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna, then I would just focus, try to get the modulator set again, as my hair is like frizzed out and the weird birthmark I have on my head is like glowing pink, and try to blast the remaining spirits and turn them.
Okay. Make a rely on your skills and training roll. Now that you've done this once.
Right. Okay.
So this power, like the kind of this excessive use of this is starting to affect you.
Yeah.
It's starting to really scramble your mind, and it's becoming harder and harder to concentrate, especially now that it's amped up. But to do it, you're gonna have to mark a fatigue just so you can kind of like focus. Like it's starting to really just drain at you.
Okay.
Are you at full fatigue?
No, I just clicked it. I am now.
Okay. Yeah. So you're pretty. I mean, you all are pretty tired. Like
We got 4 conditions I can still take.
yeah. There's still enough adrenaline.
Right.
Yeah.
And the backpack is like glowing pink hot, and it looks like it's almost melting onto me.
Yeah. And I said that you could get some of the spirits, but I think given this, like you could probably get the rest of them. Describe what this looks like. Like what happens.
Well, it's just trying to focus, and internally, it's like, complete chaos. But just the modulator was so close last time that it only would take a couple clicks, but it seems to take an awful long time just to get that right. And then this like blast of like pink energy just goes streaking forth and hits all these dark spirits, just like before, transforming their translucent bodies as they begin to form like, it almost looks like goats with crane bodies, and they sort of like float down to the ground, and they just kind of land very gracefully onto the water.
I love that. What's the name?
Is that a grain or a coat?
Or is it a crane goat? It's like a platypus bear. These crane goats fly down and are now sitting on the water, and it looks very peaceful. From what you could tell, you are feeling. Sachcha is feeling like internally satisfied. Maybe not in the head right now, because his head is all over the place, but a part of you recognizes that this is right. This feels great.
Right. And since I'm sort of just not in my right mind, I don't realize that the backpack is made of some kind of synthetic plastic, whatever, that's just melting onto me.
Yeah.
Actively getting cancer.
Yeah.
I would say one last thing.
When
As Sachcha, right before you let that burst off, and you were like watching that plane go down, you saw what looked like kind of streaks of flame kind of go away from it. Like kind of as it was going down, you saw streaks of flames going up.
I just look at everyone and say, I don't think the may have escaped the plane crash.
Yeah.
Probably did
She's
that.
a girlfriend. We can't get her. We can't get her off.
He probably did that rocket hands things. What firebenders do.
I do it for my feet. He'll be ready for it.
What are you guys going to do?
She's smart. She'll get out of here.
Again,
I mean-
if it's great, I'm looking for an opportunity to help these guys, but again, they have to be in, darn it, have to read the damn thing. Technically, they have to be in evade and observe mode.
Which move is that? Sorry.
It's the refresh move,
The refresh move. Yeah.
or technique. It's not a move, it's a technique.
We could use some refresh.
Yeah, you could.
Right. So I would be steering back in the direction of Cora to figure out where the next ball of spirits is that we can take care of.
Yeah. So like you still flew up. He still flew Tycho down to the river and got that water. It just wasn't used. So Akka is still kind of trailing this kind of refill of water as you're going towards Korra.
And yeah, as I sort of looking around, I look back and see Sachcha and say, "You may want to take that backpack off before it burns your back." I mean, your mind, I guess you're going into government, so that your mind is slipping may not be such a problem, but...
Right. There'll be an added bonus.
That's how you don't go insane.
So as you're flying there, you hear a faint kind of voice call out, "Where am I?
Oh, hey, she woke up.
Why am I so nauseous?
Do you need a drink?
Who are you?"
Go meet
We
with us.
rescued you from the Red Lotus. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to find a safe place to deposit you before we got involved in this fight.
Well, that's, priorities first. Well, pleased to meet you. I'm Su Yin in Beifong. But anyway,
Who is a spirit that has a very long backstory that we don't have time to go into, but he has the ability to open up spirit portals and to annoy the spirits that come through it enough that they begin attacking people in the physical world. He opened up a spirit portal in several cities in the Earth Kingdom, including in Zaofu, where he was attacking your people, including you, apparently. And there are now hundreds of spirits that have come through with him, most of which have turned dark.
the spirits started acting up when an ambassador from the state of Jikang, way to the south, came to visit. He called himself...
Wei Ji is not who he claimed to be. Wei Ji is actually the vessel for his coup. He's very old, and he's been in the spirit realm for quite a while, but he has returned to join the Red Lotus in some insane belief that if they open up these spirit portals and begin killing people, it will bring harmony.
That sounds about as logical as any of the Red Lotus beliefs.
Oh, they're crazy.
The terror.
That Yuka is with him. You gotta watch out for her. The craziest.
Oh, I always knew she'd be a problem. But this Wei Ji, he left. He came as a visit to try to open up a new trade route for a new crop or a new good that he said only grew that he in Jikang, some sort of lotus flower with black petals, very alluring. But his presence seemed to upset the spirits, and then, well, he left after his business was concluded, and within a couple days, the spirits returned became less agitated and returned to normal. If he is who you say if he is this creature and he's this ancient spirit, and perhaps it's just his presence alone that riles them up so, that frazzles them.
We know from Naopai that something about the portals he creates is also riling up the spirits and causing them to become dark and want to attack things they find on the other side. So it's not just him, but this seems to be part of his plan.
Wow. And sees the portal for the first time. Well, there wasn't a portal here. There wasn't dear spirits. There wasn't one of those when I last remembered.
There are now several throughout the Earth Kingdom. Maybe elsewhere. We know of 3, including this one.
Well, I heard reports that this is very new.
Well,
Luckily, we are working on this. As your assistant minister of technology, I am doing my best to take care of the situation. Pleased to meet you. I am Shimizu.
Who's that?
So what are you intending to do with her? Like,
I'm letting her know that I'm working on the situation. I figured my character's brain scrambled. I'm really not aiming for anything. Just letting her know.
He doesn't even remember his own name.
Yeah,
Let's
my
take this
friend-
backpack off of you. Get it off.
Are you okay? Is this thing on your
It's-
back making
Yeah, I'm
you woozy?
pulling that off.
Maybe we should take that off.
My
Take
friend
that off his back.
Shimizu has invented a technology that can help retune the spirit portals so that they are not agitating the spirits. But we recently upgraded it with a spirit vine from your reception hall, and it seems to maybe be having some sort of secondary effect on Zoo/Sachcha's mental stability. New technology, you got to work the bugs out. I'm sure you're familiar.
yes, well, I'm trying to think about it. Is like I would say normally this would be a trick, but since like thinks that he's not trying to deceive anything, like he's just is. So yeah, Shimizu, it's nice. Keep up the good work. Look,
Will do.
And to clarify, Shimizu's not actually assistant. What was it?
Minister of Technology.
He doesn't actually hold that position. It's just a dream, a lifelong dream that someday he will rise to the level of Assistant Minister of Technology.
Well, he's the first one to invent
I'm
this
s-
technology, so he
I'm
deserves
certain I have the paperwork in this backpack.
well,
Maybe you did, but I'm pretty sure it's burned now.
Why don't you take off the backpack?
I was already taking that thing off.
Okay.
Let it cool down. If
Look at
anybody
his
can
face.
handle something that might be like a little hot, would be me. So used to the flames.
I like to imagine Hello Kitty's face is like half melted into some,
Yeah.
some horrifying grimace.
Yep.
so she looks at you and she says, "Well, there's always room for bright minds who are bright and capable minds. I don't know if I need an assistant minister of technology right this moment, but I can always use talent and find a use for it."
Well, I'll take assistant to the assistant minister if that's what's required.
You know, make me a plead roll.
Okay. Let's see. Harmony.
Lead?
Nope.
Some
Don't
sort
have a
of-
whole lot of that.
Deputy Assistant Minister.
Oh wow.
All right.
Okay.
On a 7 and 9, they need something more evidence that this is the right course, guidance, and making the right choices. Or assistance to aid them.
You'll notice that we are not being attacked right now.
Yes.
Thanks to
Yeah,
this
it
device
was-
that he's crafted.
Also,
That was wild. He just sort of waved this thing at him, and all the spirits broke off from attacking the Avatar, and it was great.
You
We
missed
had
the
no-
flock of fox that flew off.
Well, I'm feeling a little nauseous at the moment. Can we talk about this afterwards? You know, maybe after I've had a chance to see a little bit more of what you're capable of, rather than just hearing.
Testimony. Look around. This is the real thing.
Oh man, I'm like, give it a rest, dude. Here, have some wine. You're a little out of it.
Does Sachcha take it?
Yeah, I'll take some wine, sure.
See, wine helps with everything.
like we're pointing at the grains on the ground peacefully in the water. He's like, yeah, so what?
Grains, right,
Trying to point to the fox, but there are none around.
right. They
have
fucked
no-
off. Yep.
Yeah, we have no fox to give.
I love the ferret hawk.
She's basically like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, she's like, let's talk later. And I don't want this testimony. Like, what? We're in the middle of it right here, hon. Come on.
Well, to her credit, she was knocked out and not like aware, didn't really like process any of it. So like she's kind of come to after like the kind of
Right.
the immediate chaos has subsided.
Right.
At least that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Shall we check on the Avatar?
Yeah, we were flying in that direction.
Yeah, but whatever this creature is, if its portals are if its portals are irritating, and then perhaps it itself is irritating, if there was some way to almost to dampen its energy or dampen it so that it would be less irritating, maybe we could call off some of these dark spirit or some of these spirits or calm some of them.
Well, between Sachcha and Atka, maybe we can do that. Unfortunately, we've been told the only way to really deal with Ankou in the end is either to defeat it here in the physical world, where it can be killed, or get its host, its human host, into the fog of lost souls in the spirit world. And I guess we can trust the source to at least be accurate on those points.
I can't help you there, but I'm sure Korra could help you at least get to the fog of lost souls or Tenzin.
Yeah, I don't know the Tenzin's around. Korra's nearby. Actually, Ura here could probably also get us there if need be. And luckily for us, Ankou opened a portal to the spirit world nearby. So if we can subdue him long enough, we can drag him off there.
I mean, maybe if we tell the Avatar, then she can do part of that work for us. Kind of her job, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but he's too powerful for me.
Yeah, I'm quite tired, but we must persist.
Yep, there's no choice. Yep.
That's right.
And you guys continue on, and I think that's a good spot for a little break.
Sure.
Take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Next time on Nickelodeon Kids.
All right, let's get back into it. You're flying through. You're flying back towards where you can hear the concussive booms, and you circle around, and you get to you see Korra and Ankou still meeting it out. You see about 30 dark spirits kind of picking at Korra. You see about 30 dark spirits picking at Korra. And
Can I blow those ones up? I was asking that.
who are you asking for permission?
Well, so they kept having issues with me blowing them up, so
These ones are around Korra. You better be precise.
I know what I'm doing.
So yeah, make her rely on your skills and training.
We are.
I
Moment
mean,
of
wasn't
truth.
that move you were trying to learn from Iroh basically like a multi-fire attack?
It was. I have that one.
Uh-huh.
And you did.
Yeah, I don't have it's on the thing, so I couldn't add it.
Here, I can add it for you. I have it. It's Fireball Barrage.
Yeah, I believe I have no marker fatigue to use it though.
You do. You have to get I added it to your sheet. Yeah, you have to get a 12 or like a 10 plus in like a combat exchange. I would say that you could try it here, but since it's not in a combat exchange, if you're going to use that, I would say it's push your luck. I think be the out of combat exchange equivalent of that.
Which is a passion based, which I am not good at those. So I think
Doesn't your character have something where they could use passion or use harmony? Instead
if
of
I'm
passion?
intimidating, yeah, I can use harmony instead of passion in place of intimidate.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Just intimidate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's a push your luck roll rather than a
if I
rely on
wanted to-
skills and training.
I think I'll go with over reliable.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing with that one.
Right.
Bigger blast. It creates more of a ruckus. Draw them towards up at the very least.
So focus.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Crit fail.
Nope.
No, not today. Yeah.
That's a full-on hit.
Yeah, you're right on the money. So where do you place the blast?
All right. So just what's the light the helix pinnacle or not pinnacle but the light right that's flowing upwards.
Yeah.
Where's all that in comparison to where we are?
You could say the word shaft.
Yeah,
of light.
yeah, the fucking shaft.
It was at the town that we left, so it was fairly far away, unless I misremember.
Well, there's one here too.
Oh, great! Because of course we can't get away from the damn portals. Never mind.
Yeah, let's see.
We gotta deal with Ankou.
You need to try to re-frequency Ku.
Do the thing to Ankou. Maybe he just needs a drink. Maybe I just need to get him drunk and calm him down.
Julie, do the thing. You see them off, and there's around them is probably about 30. Around them is about 30 dark spirits or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
The light is emanating from their fight or from near their fight or.
Yeah. So she is. So this is kind of in the distance back at the Beifong estate. So there's distance between. There's space. There's some feet. Yeah.
Okay.
There is a gap between a gap large enough to require a train between the Beifong estate and Central Zaofu. So this portal is the one at the Beifong estate. So it's it's a little bit of ways from where you're at right now.
So okay, and the spirits then, are they flying around or are they running around on the ground?
They're flying around. They're flying around these two here. Around these two. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I will sort of put it up in the air above the two fighting, so as to sort of disperse the spirits above them, essentially.
Okay. So
I
yeah,
need to, shoot a couple.
Yeah.
So be it.
You hear those blasts just rock them, and it really catches. So you it catches at least Korra off guard, and she looks at you, and she turns to look, and she's got her eyes are fully white.
I'm like, we got these guys. Hello, we've never met.
What happens to those spirits? Do they just disperse?
So yeah, these spirits they do disperse. They kind of scatter, and they will start to regroup.
Okay, when they get as I see him doing this, as soon as he hits them with that and they begin to disperse, I will attempt, if there's enough residual energy in the modulator. If not, I will grab the backpack. But I will try to catch them while they were, they've been hit with this, and try to use skills and training to change their energy. And first, I'll make sure that is Beifong awake? Is she paying attention?
She is awake.
Okay, good. All right. This would be all for nothing.
Well, she might not be looking at you.
Yeah, looking off in some other direction.
Looking at the fox.
Yeah.
What does
Or the
fox
very
say?
impressive explosions that I have produced.
Yeah, you can do a rely on your skills and training.
All right. Oh,
Yeah, so I'd say, I'd say that, the text of this is that you do it imperfectly and there's like something that goes wrong. But I'd say that this is a little bit different. I'm going to make a little bit of an audible. So you're able to hit this, but like if this is now scrambling. You were scrambled and now like you're just like further exacerbating it.
right.
I'd say at this point, like, Sachcha, you would take a condition. What that condition is, you can tell me. Like, you can tell me the end result of, like, how that makes you feel.
I mean, this is basically like your job interview, so insecure would make sense.
Well,
Or angry that he's got to fucking do this. I've already shown enough work.
yeah, it's like, how much more do I need to do? I look at, she's not even paying attention. She's like, oh, wow. And she's like, I noticed she's just like chatting it up with her, Zoo gets pissed as these.
Okay.
So it turns into like a snake-like butterfly thing.
So, yeah, you hit this off and, like, it emanate, the kind of the concussive, or like the shock wave. Also, like, at the same time, you just become incredibly frustrated and angry.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, you're missing the snutterflies.
And she was like kind of she was like half paying attention, and she was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then she was like, oh wow,
That's all you
that's
can say.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'll have to really consider your application. Wow.
Then she's like, so anyway, and she turns back to her conversation with Nuala.
But she now is eyeing you curiously, Sachcha. Like, you get the sense that she is impressed. Even though she was seeming a bit aloof, she is quite impressed. You think you at least passed this part of the interview. Now I have to go to the panel.
Yeah.
Break what?
The panel.
Oh, I mean the panel interview.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So you disperse these dark spirits, and then they were turned into
Snake butterfly. Snutterfly.
I think butterfly snakes are a thing in one of the novels. There were snakes with butterfly wings.
Really?
What are these? But were there butterflies with snake heads?
I do not remember those.
They can't fly.
So now it's just all the dark spirits have seemingly disappeared, or there aren't any around them anymore.
That was a pretty good fireball. And I look back. Oh, you did it. Okay.
Now we need to try to contain Ankou. Adka, I think this is why we asked you to join us.
And he says, right, and he closes his eyes, and you're trailing this water behind you guys, and he starts working. He starts kind of weaving it around, and like his eyes are closed the whole time, but you again forming these helix of this water, kind of in this helix formation, kind of twisting its way around. And Cora stops. She stops fighting him, and like she at this point, because it's kind of put him in his tracks, and she helps, and she helps, and so with both of their efforts, this kind of double helix kind of goes around to the top, and this man like kind of rise up, and in the center of this spirit, and then it kind of rises up, and the spirit kind of stays where it's at, and the man starts to kind of peters away, and is just the pure white void, or it's the white spirit with the
Just look down to Cora, see if she's doing anything.
I don't know if she knows that we either have to kill it or get it into someone that we can transport to the spirit world.
Oh, she not knows. Put him in the sphere.
But that won't do it either.
What's the place called? I forgot what it's called. What was it called again?
In order to trap him in the fog of lost souls, he has to be contained in a human body. or somebody has to absorb him, and then we have to take that person and put them in the fog of lost souls.
Do we think we can kill him?
I was like, I believe in you. I believe in all of you. After what I've seen here.
Pretty tired. Well, we got to go down and tell her what needs to happen here. Otherwise, we're definitely gonna need her help.
That's it. We get her to
I mean,
sacrifice herself. Problem solved. Oh no.
Yeah, that's not
Right.
the best idea.
Can we go to her?
Yeah, I would fly in her direction. Do we know how you actually absorbed Ankou in the first place? I heard he devoured him, but I don't know what that means. Since Ankou is huge, I assume that is some sort of metaphorical devouring of Ankou.
Are you asking Atka?
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably speaking aloud at this point to the whole group. I wasn't here for the library episode, so I don't know if anything more was said about it. But I would be asking Atka, who was also at the library when I wasn't.
Yeah, he never got a chance to look at the book. You know.
Right, and I don't know who actually read them. Hopefully, it wasn't Mike's character. So, then Sachcha, and I would be asking because maybe Wei Jean mentioned it,
Yeah.
mentioned something about it. But since I know Sachcha read the diaries, I would ask Sachcha.
So, Sachcha, you would remember that, like, it was, the diary mentioned just, like, physically eating an eye. It didn't quite sound like a metaphor, though it was, like, very kind of out there.
Which makes perfect sense to me right now.
Yeah, like, oh, I totally get it.
We need to get that eye. I need to eat it.
Well, not yet.
Wait a minute. If you eat it, you won't ever be Assistant Minister of Technology.
I got bigger aspirations now.
No, it's fine. If it's gonna happen, I'll do it.
Okay.
So I was thinking I would do it.
You're still young.
I have a lot to make up for already.
I'm looking
And it
around at these guys, and it's like, are they really volunteering to take the fall to do this? I mean, this is like completely against my survival principle.
We can
Like,
apportion
what?
it equally to each other.
We each have a slice of Ankou and throw ourselves all into the, fog of lost souls. Right.
I take out my multi-tool and flip to the knife.
Is it like a steak knife, or is it just a knife?
It's just like a knife that's, like a regular knife. Or
So
I could cut it with the welding torch.
Yeah, I am going to sort of just like swing Taiko around so that we're heading towards Korra. And then I'm going to jump off and use airbending to fly into Ankou, diving after the eye.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I said I was gonna do that.
Make a so one. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Make a rely on skills and training.
He trains to jump off of.
Can I use push your luck?
Is a passion better? It is push your luck. It would be better and more accurate in this case. I was thinking of your skill, your airbending.
Wow. Can't believe you did that. Oh, well.
I have no more fatigue to give to correct that, but I can take a condition. I don't know if you can take a condition to correct those things, though.
Not in push your luck. There's it's just a hit, but you do it, but it costs you to scrape by.
Oh, no, wait, hold on. Because I just realized I am leaping off the back of my mount, and I have a whole thing about mount, dismount, leaping off the back of my mount, and I can be favored and prepared when I do it. And one of those, prepared, gives me a +1 to the appropriate roll, and that's a 10,
Good call.
and that's a full hit.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect. So
Because Ira taught me how to dismount the
Yeah.
appropriate way.
that moment of training hits you, and yeah. So your mind flashes back to the spirit glade, and where you had these tables that you were jumping off of and on, and you just your mind goes there, and you just kind of leap off and engage, flies through the air, and I'd imagine maybe have his mouth open, or
Yes.
yeah, so mouth open, and you go right, you timed it just well enough where you go right through the void and in through the eye and bite down onto it. It tastes sweet, like a lot of sugar. You take a bite and it goes down, and it when it hits you, it just makes you feel incredibly nauseous. But because you got a 10, it's not gonna knock you out. You're now like have this power just coursing through you, and you find that you're like barely able to control it. So I'd say that like you are conscious.
And meanwhile, described it. Tycho has continued on in straight line direction towards Cora, so they can explain to her what the plan actually is. As I yell, "I know what diabetes tastes like."
Oh man, it's already getting to him. He's talking crazy. What the heck is diabetes?
Gage, no. I mean, you're pretty high up. You're a few hundred feet up.
Oh, well, I guess I can't.
Unless you're an airbender.
It seems like even a lot. It seems like a lot even for me and my rocket light feet.
Yeah, I mean, you could like fall with style, but as far as like flying, like in the same way,
Yeah, I do everything with style, so we'll get back there.
you could like shoot up like between things, like kind of rocket yourself between things. I'd say Uro would be able to do that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what are we flying over or through?
Well, there's tops of buildings around you. I'd say you're a little bit above most of the tops of these buildings, so like you could like kind of hop between them with some effort, kind of like from here to here.
Fine. I will yell down at the Avatar and say, "We gotta get him to the Fog of Lost Souls. Can you help? You know where that is?"
Yeah, I can get him there right away.
Nice voice.
Why does he need to be taken to the Fog of Lost Souls? Did he do what I think he did?
It will contain. He won't have any. He won't have any power in the world anymore.
The conversation's gonna last too long. I've left off and started towards him.
Okay, so you're diving towards Gage?
Yeah.
So what are you trying to do?
So
what is your goal?
I think I could probably at least maybe lead him if it comes down to the fog. So my thought is that I would just get to him and sort of assess that sort of situation and determine if there's if I need to do it myself or whatever, basically.
Okay.
Or if there's anything left of the eye, maybe I can snag it.
You see a little like smeared on the side of his lip.
Lick it off his face. Oh, sorry, wrong game, wrong person.
Part of me can't help but think, and that's how Ura died. He jumped off and then just fell 100 feet to the ground due to a poor rely on skills and training roll.
So I'd say that Ura would be able to jump off and at least get to Gage without a roll to guide. As far as you're aware, the nearest portal is in the Beifong estate, which is a little bit of distance away. There's like grassland.
That then makes me question. So I know this is the plan, and now I've got Ankou inside of me, and here comes Ura. Can I tap into Ankou's power to open a new portal here?
Ooh, interesting.
Absolutely, because that sounds awesome.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you know what? Push your luck.
Unless Ura wants to help, something goes wrong.
So
I don't know how I could help. No experience opening portals.
But you have experience with the spirit world, which is where the portal goes.
I don't know how I'm not sure how I can't imagine helping.
Okay.
So with a 9.
Sorry. So do we see this portal like trying to open?
Yes.
All right, and this is the plan: is to get him in, to move him. I'm assuming this is part of the thing. It's like he grabbed the eye, and then we're supposed to put him into a portal, but the other portal is too far away.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sue sees this and grabs the Hello Kitty bag and just does this as it's still glowing with whatever energy is in it. And I'm going to try the help action as I like mess with my little modulator to attempt to like help it form, because I sort of understand like how they work. So just to affect the formation of it, because I can see that it's like going to be all out of whack.
Okay. Yeah.
Where they grow snowflakes.
So yeah, you get to mark. You're full on fatigue.
Right. Does fatigue reset or just take another condition?
You take another condition.
Yeah.
I think you could make a case for either of those conditions.
Which one?
The ones that aren't checked. Afraid makes sense. You could argue that you'd be afraid for Gage. You could argue that this whole thing is troubling you, and that you'd feel troubled about this.
Yeah, we'll go with trouble.
All right,
Everything seems to be like spiraling out of control.
So Gage, you try to tap into the other mind that is within your mind, and like kind of the mental imagery of like you're like finger poking it, and like just a burst of power shoots, like poking this kind of cosmic energy, and this burst of power just pokes out, and you fall into it. And Ura, you're chasing after Gage, and like as you are diving towards the ground, all of a sudden a beam of energy, like just light, just shoots around you, and Cora is coming after both of you, seeing what's going on, and you all just dive through like head first into this portal. You land into this area, and beneath you, so you're sitting on top of these large kind of stone cliffs that are kind of surrounded by these kind of scraggly kind of but thick trees, and below you is this just looks like the Valley of Mist. It is thicker and just different in its nature.
I have to ask, did Suyin see that? She see that Sachcha was able to correct the problem, the mistake I was about to make?
Sachcha, you look back, and her eyes are like intently looking at you, and like she's just got like this like this like fate, this kind of look of awe about her. Like she does not know what she...
Yeah, he's looking at you like there's an assistant minister for technology,
and not just assistant to the Minister of Technology.
So
my character's mind is just completely blown at the level of sacrifice going on here. It's like this is completely counter to his survival ethos.
So yeah, Yale.
And he's allergic to Tycho.
What the hell are these people doing?
And Cora dive through this portal. What are you guys going to do?
Yeah, that then Sachik is just like that's, and then he becomes. I think he part of the troubled condition is like, oh, should I have done that?
I'll whap on the side of go there.
Tycho does not respond to go there. Doesn't mean anything to him.
Yep.
Like he knows.
Tycho knows yip yip.
Actually, I've seen you do this, so after a second, yeah, goes yep, and points towards the portal.
So how do you guys? So how? So you kind of Ura, you're chasing out. You're like, I'd say you're chasing after Gage, and you could get to a point where you can grab him. Do you imagine that you're falling? Do you imagine that you're outside of this, like on the edge of this kind of valley, like at the top, or do you imagine that the portal opened up right above it and you're falling into it? Or...
I don't know. I kind of imagined falling onto it.
Okay.
I'm just like our momentum carries on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
When I flame charge and catch up, and then try and see if maybe I can do the whole spirit guide thing to this valley. Have we been there? I forget. Have we been to this valley?
No. But I think this is the valley.
We've already made it there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's
all right, so I can see it. I can visualize this. Oh, we're just walking down there now.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess I was thinking, from your description, I was thinking like you're actually like the portal opened up and you're falling into it. And so
yeah.
Now the choice
crashing through trees. Yeah, I mean maybe crashing through trees or something. But
yeah,
unless you can stop. Hey.
As it's been portrayed in the show, sometimes there's like cliffs on the side of it that people just push people off so that they fall into the mist. I imagine we're sort of all falling into the mist now.
Yeah.
Which, works from my perspective for me, but the Avatar and don't need to fall in. If we're anywhere near a cliff, I would try to find a wherewithal to do like an air blast to push Cora and Ura away from falling into the mist so that they would essentially hit the cliffs.
Yeah.
I would keep hold though, and I would just hold on to you so that you would also stop falling.
Yeah, I mean, I would be trying to blast you away from me so that I could fall though. And in the end, I would more focus on getting away from Ura in that case, because I assume the Avatar can handle herself
Yeah. All right.
So it's a grapple check. Opposed grapple check.
So
People are crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it's a battle of rely on skills and training to me.
Yeah.
Like we both roll and see who gets higher. He has a little bit of an advantage because his focus is higher than mine.
Yeah.
But that's still what it sounds like to me. It sounds like I'm trying to use my airbending to blow him away, and he's trying to use his little fire jet feet to remain like right up next to me.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, let's do the higher one succeeds.
Heck yeah, I can barely beat that. Nope, higher than like a 6 in a long time in this game.
It's just the RNG is just not in your favor.
Yep.
So
So I am not able to blow you back towards the cliffs. So you and I are both falling into the fog of lost souls,
yeah.
from which no one escapes.
Yeah, it's a great.
That is funny.
Gotta get a. Let's see. Hopefully, get this. I'm just gonna post the picture in chat real quick. Let's see.
Ura's been lost in the fog of lost souls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We give Tony a minute to see if his computer will cooperate.
I'm not sure what happened there, but all right.
It was a great freeze frame.
Mm-hmm.
So Ura, you kick your fiery feet downwards, and Gage land. He tries to push you away with a gust of air, but you're able to skirt around it, and you grab him, and you're plummeting into this fog, and like you start dipping into it, and it feels familiar because it feels familiar to you. It's a familiar sense, and
Yeah.
you like it starts coming rushing back, like the feelings of certainty, and then doubt, and then confusion, and then just more of confusion, and you feel something grab your leg, like your ankle, and you start lifting out, and you're holding Gage, and if you crane your head up and you see Cora holding you and starting to lift you all out.
I'll ask, hey, you know how to get this thing out of him?
You can't get this thing out of me. The only way to imprison it is inside a human body, according to Ko, who knows more about these things than any of us. If you let it loose in the spirit world, it will spend all of its time trying to get to the material world to devour people.
No, I'm aware of that, but I'm just disagreeing with the individual that needs to be within.
I didn't realize that it was this powerful of a dark spirit causing. That was the root of these attacks. If what you say is true, then I think Gage has a point. But we can find a way to get you out. I know someone who has come in and come out again. We can save you.
Yeah, I've
But I
been in and out.
But I don't know that there's a way to go in, get me out, and leave Ankou in there. So you would have to find some other way to imprison Ankou first. And if you could do that, great. But in the meantime, I need to be dropped into the fog of lost souls to contain me, because I can't contain Ankou for very long.
Well, sounds like I gotta go with you.
I would feel better if your wisdom was still here on the outside, able to guide people.
They got others.
Crazy ass.
I've been here before. I might be able to actually help you.
All I know about this place is that you're imprisoned in your darkest memories. For me, I know precisely what those memories are, and I've been imprisoned in them in every day for the past several years. So not much will have changed. I don't know whether or not the same is true of you.
Certainly not something you want to live through every day.
Well, if you're coming, we should get going. I don't know if we'll stay together in the fog. It's not necessarily how this works.
I'll find you.
Figure something out. You will be free again. And my word is the Avatar.
As I said, if you can find a way to contain or forever imprison Ankou, that's fine. But don't take me out until then.
You'll have company.
Understood.
And she would like lower you both and like hesitate one last time before like trying to give you a gentle landing as possible.
And then when she lets go, be like, well, wait.
I'm not actually immune to it.
So you both of you tumble into the fog of lost souls, and you start breathing in the air, and Ura, it feels familiar, and you know, like the kind of your spiritual energy is very much attributed to this spirit that you're now breathing in, and so it's almost kind of welcoming, like a welcoming oblivion. You tumble down, and you both find each other, and I would imagine you guys just give each other like a wide-eyed look, and we'll cut to Sachcha and Yeo on top of Tycho. After, maybe 5 minutes out of that portal, you see the Avatar come out. And what are you guys doing? Like, how are you guys? Yeah,
Well,
clearly
we're still stuck. I'm not an airbender or a firebender, so I'm still stuck on Tycho until he decides to, put down on dry land. But I'm still sort of yip, pointing at the portal to see if he'll follow. But whatever. But if Cora comes out, I'll call out to her. What happened? Where are they?
They're in the fog of their own free will. They did a
Both of
heroic
them?
thing.
Both of them?
I'm just as surprised as you are.
Oh man, I seriously need to get drunk. The missing guys. That.
Their friendship must have been so strong that they couldn't have stood the thought of leaving each other, even if it meant losing their entire identity.
Oh man, that's amazing.
I'm not in my right mind, but I don't believe that.
Nah, man, the Avatar wouldn't lie. We saw Gage deliberately lunge for that.
I'm just picturing Sachcha like the Avatar killed them.
Suspicious mind.
The birth of the new Red Lotus.
Oh, wait. Judging a rival. I'm going to use that right now. Tie someone up with your focus.
Really, Gage's like actual worst nightmares is just having to be with Ura for the rest of eternity. So that's why I'm like half here.
Honestly, I was thinking that Gage would be touched that you were willing to try to accompany him. That said, I guess he's only known you like a week. Like, if you really boil it down, we just joined the Red Lotus like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to mess with my character's friendship versus survival balance, because on the one hand, he's just seen, this amazing sort of, if you look at it sideways, looks like friendship act. On the other hand, he's like, oh wow, at least I didn't take the hit. I survived, and I'm good now, and I didn't have to do crazy shit like that. So I don't know which way he's gonna drink on it.
Yeah,
he drinks on everything. So
that's fair. It's gotta let it ferment a little bit.
But it's like gotta ferment like a wine, so it's gotta take years.
Yeah.
So I will look at the horizon. Is the pillar of light still there, or are the gates going away now that their maker is going away?
The gates are still there. You still see
Oh
that.
man, we still gotta close these gates. Especially that one. I mean, it leads right to them, sort of, kinda, I guess. Does anybody know how to close gates?
I think this is something I can help out with. It's kind of my thing, as the Avatar be able to close the portals between our worlds.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's good. She takes out his little makeshift blowtorch and looks at him and says, I don't trust anybody, especially with this technology, and destroys the modulator.
And is thus no longer angry.
Exactly.
Broke something important.
But you handled it so well.
And then he turned. I'm going to assume that we have landed on the ground at some point.
Yeah.
On the top of a skyscraper. Sachcha turns, and his robes and stuff have all fallen off, and emblazoned on his chest is some distorted visage of the Hello Kitty symbol, and he says, really, have we? And he just walks off, headed toward the pawn shop.
She just watches you walk off, and she turns to Yeo, says, what about you? What's next for you?
I don't know. I joined them because they wanted to fight back against the nastiness that the Red Lotus was doing. And it sounded like a great thing, but they're all way too intense for me. I think I'm gonna go get drunk and figure it out in the morning. You want to come with? How much does it take to get an Avatar drunk? Does it take more than normal? This trick has to be shown to the world. Did you know you can do alcohol bending?
So it was Su Yin talking, but Cora is there too, and she says, she's like, oh, actually, I could use a drink. And sure, yeah. And Cora's like,
actually, I'm interested in this alcohol bending.
Yeah. It's too important. It's too important just for me to die like those guys, or get lost like those guys, and not have it make it out into the world. I'll show the Avatar how to bend alcohol.
Well, let's.
Mayor Cartwright, you might become Assistant Minister of Technology because apparently they still need to fill that position.
But seriously, he's sort of a, laid back guy, and especially these last few minutes of two self-sacrificers and one guy going crazy and giving up on his dream has just been like, are they nuts? This is crazy.
Stories there, and we can share stories, and maybe I can hear a little bit what hear about the events that your friends did.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it, man. Although they met before they met me, but it started out when I woke up from a bender in the middle of the whatever library. What's the library's name?
The Spirit Library, the Great Spirit Library.
Yeah. When I woke up from a bender in the Great Spirit Library and found these guys, and then so yeah.
Yeah.
They got him talking. He's gonna go relate the story.
And I think that's a good place to end it as you recount the last 13 episodes to that.
Yeah.
And in my head, he does become like official wine steward of the Metal Clan.
Yeah.
All of their alcohol cellars are basically under his control.
We're not going to necessarily... we don't have to do growth and advancement because it's the end, but... Thank you for playing.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I was
Gage
disconcerted.
forced my hand.
I felt like it was going to come down to one of eating the eye of Ankou once it became clear that is actually what had to be done. I was going to say I was disconcerted for a second when his body, or Wei Jin's body, disintegrated, because I was expecting we would capture him and take him back to the spirit world. But as soon as that happened, I was like, that's going to have to be one of us. I was tempted for a second to be like, hey, Atka, go eat that.
I did have a backup plan. And so I had this in the background, and there was this whole Yuka was not going to give up. And before that happened, I was going to have Yuka come in one more time and then Taka actually take the fall. But
I forgot about Taka. Taka would have made sense.
Yeah.
As well, I guess.
Yeah,
now I'm more...
But I didn't want to take the moment away because I didn't want the NPCs to
right.
No, that makes
do
sense.
the pivotal piece.
But now I'm wondering if in recounting the story to Su Yin, do you include the part about where we were officially members of the Red Lotus for a week? Because then you and Sachcha may wind up in jail.
My character came after that.
That's true.
He doesn't know that.
Okay.
He came in when you were at the library, and the first thing you told him you were doing was trying to... He thought that was great because he'd heard all these nasty rumors, and so yeah, he has no earthly idea that you guys were originally members of the Red Lotus for a week.
And I'm very fascinated at the notion of what does your version of the Avatar world look like after this? Because sorry, Sachcha, but now that people know you can tune spirit portals using technology, somebody, and obviously Yayo is out there telling the story, somebody is going to recreate that technology.
That's a good question. I think that's I don't really know. I think I figured at bare minimum it changes things. It changes things in a way that they similar to the end of similar to parts of the show where they just don't go back. So
right.
I think that'd be a fun motif to explore of what is this world like when spirit when you've kind of figured out the nature of spirits,
I was thinking the WMD analogy of what happens when every nation essentially can create their own portals. Already there's this situation where potentially the Earth Kingdom has access to a bunch of spirit vines and nobody else does except for Republic City. So the Earth Kingdom currently has a little bit of a potential advantage they could exploit if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. And what is the Avatar going to do about that? But then, in particular, Varric or somebody like him is probably going to stumble upon this spirit portal tuning again, and maybe figure out how to open up portals when they want to. As we've seen, that means you can now cross potentially continents.
Yeah.
in a couple of minutes. Hard to say, I guess. You could go into a spirit portal on this end, and then it feels like a couple of minutes, but you emerge 100 years later on the other side.
Yeah.
You can't really tell.
I think even so, there's still like there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to navigating the spirit world that would have to be worked out.
And obviously, Ko didn't know like what was going to happen because it hadn't happened. But like in universe, I have to wonder whether or not Ko realized that I might wind up devouring Ankou and getting caught in the Fog of Lost Souls again. And we don't really know how they got Yoon out of the Fog of Lost Souls the first time, so it's possible that somebody who knows about that is still out there
Yeah.
and could try it again. Like, there's a lot of interesting potential threads that come out of this story. So, and that makes it a good story. Like, I probably will think about this for at least a couple of days, thinking about where it could go from there.
Cool.
I mean, we know that Ko, the face stealer, has some way of pulling people out. He pulled me out.
I didn't realize he pulled you out.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
say that he pulled him out.
Right. My character wouldn't know that, though.
Yeah.
Right.
And did Ko pull you out because he wanted you to go and sort of fuck up the plan?
No, it sounds like that was the trade for him taking my father's face. He gets my father's face, and then that's the payment pulling me out, basically.
Right. But I still, even though that certainly was established, I still wonder whether or not Ankou was like, you know, I can get more than just a face out of this. I could send him like a missile in the direction of my father, Ankou, who I don't get along with.
You know,
Certainly how it worked out.
he has.
And then he'll wind up back. He might be smart enough to realize, and then he's just going to wind up stuck in the Fog of Lost Souls again anyway. I get him back. That's gonna be what it is. You and I are gonna be wandering around before the fog drives us crazy, and we're gonna run into your father, who's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
So the the Ankou doesn't actually exist. Well, it does exist in the Avatar verse. So, but I changed the name because I thought the actual name that they gave it was kind of weenie. It's called the real name of this creature in the lore is Father, which I thought having like a major villain named Father didn't sound very like threatening. But Ankou in Shinto mythology is like the equivalent of like the fairy of the dead, and it does have.
I agree with Father Glowworm.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to fight like General Lightbright.
Yeah.
General Lightbright. Every time you shoot him, the spot pops out in color. Never mind, shines out.
But yeah, the whole like Father Glowworm thing happened in the Kyoshi novels, and he actually did eat his eye and gain like his power, and he kind of like it drove him kind of mad. So like that part was real. So like it feels kind of weird to be like, oh, you could just eat a spirit, but like that's canon. So
Right.
I was like, well, that's what they did. So I'm gonna stick with it.
I mean, well, okay. See, that's another thing that could, do some crazy, completely remodel the society if that were true and repeatable.
Are just devouring spirits that they've come across. It becomes like haute cuisine.
Yep, there'd be spirit ranches.
I thought the double sacrifice was beautiful, and I really enjoyed Sachcha's like just the madness that it drove him to. Of like, this is what I wanted, and now that I've passed the test, I don't want it anymore.
Right. Although, yeah, that was one of those things where I came up with Assistant Minister of Technology. Just we needed a disguise.
Yes.
Infiltrate the people from the Earth Kingdoms. So I don't know. Maybe
been
it
going
just-
mad slowly over time, is what you're saying.
Right.
He started believing it.
But there's, sort of the question of was that such extreme only for like that couple of weeks, or did I just stumble upon his secret dream like it was all fate?
Yeah, maybe you just told him the truth that he knew deep down, but just didn't want to believe.
And then he turned his back on, so that he could go sell auto plungers to that guy Frank. I will wonder about that. Like, how is Sachcha now just permanently crazy? Or I don't even remember your new name that I never heard before this session.
Me?
So I don't know if that was like always part of your name or not.
No.
But it's like, will they weeks from now, will there start being like a rash of like some serial killer who's killing people with auto plungers?
So I'm gonna take a break for a little while before I run another game. But I think invariably I'm gonna itch. I'm gonna be itching to run again. So when that happens, I'm not sure if it'll be Avatar or if it'll be it'd be either Avatar or Dungeon World, which is the fantasy version of this, like the generic fantasy version of kind of this system without the balance mechanic. But I'll let you guys know, and if you're interested, happy to play again, but no pressure.
I
Does remind me of pad of the Star Wars, the Fantasy Flight Star Wars system that had, instead of like using any normal dice, it has its own set of symbols on it and shit.
Yeah.
But it's very similar, like degrees of success sort of thing. You could like succeed and gain an advantage, succeed but get a disadvantage.
Right.
Or,
Complication.
and then it's a very cool system, but it's just you got to memorize it, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was surprised. I like the system, but I was surprised that even now I don't actually know the system. I usually pick up systems much faster than this one. There are a couple things I just found a little confusing about it. And like, when you roll your focus move, it always seemed like I would forget about it until the last minute.
Yeah.
And it's odd. Like there were definitely times when it's like I was looking to do something and I was like, I can't figure out what skill this is. Like you wanna ask a question to like persuade someone to give you the answer, but it's not one of the list of questions that you're allowed to ask if you do this thing. It sets the situation.
It's maybe a plead,
Right. Yeah, but plead is a little like, the person has to give a shit in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you actually just want to like beg somebody who doesn't know you to feeling bad enough for you to help you out by giving you some information.
They could like give a shit at like the basic human level. They don't have to, it doesn't have to be close.
So it won't work on a psychopath.
Yeah.
I do find myself wishing that Gunshot had come back in at some point. This is just purely personal. I like the interaction between Gage and Gunshot because Gunshot was like the opposite of what Gage wanted to be. He's still in the military. Gage isn't. He's essentially representing the man.
Yeah. So Gunshot is sitting back at Naupai.
Right.
Because he was still like he was stationed outside. If you guys were, I had some semblance of a plan of like, if you needed help or something, like he would come back in the picture again. But he getting to Zaofu, like he would have been like disobeying orders and stuff. So
interesting too. The mayor who I hated for no reason. Mayor did nothing wrong. Hated the mayor.
I really enjoyed
because he was the man.
I really enjoyed the mayor. I thought the mayor. I enjoyed playing the mayor. I enjoyed the character of like, he wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't like I was trying to portray him as likable enough.
Right, and nonetheless, I disliked him.
Yeah,
there was no real reason for that.
And that was
it was always pretty reasonable for the most part. Let a lot of people stay at his house.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was mostly as like a result, like because everybody, your group, like your core mission was like, down with the man, and I wanted to present someone of the man that's kind of infuriating, but also like not bad. But yeah, I know we didn't do combat exchanges for most of the season. I don't know how I feel about combat exchanges. So like we did the first couple, and then like they seem to generally work really well when you're like there's like quick bursts, like when you're fighting people, but like most of the time we weren't fighting people, we were fighting spirits.
I like the combat exchanges. I find it also like one of the mechanical things that's weird is sometimes the thing I want to do is technically a combat encounter move, and I'm trying to do it. We're not because it seems applicable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would probably pretty freely allow that in hindsight. Like if you could do it under pressure in combat, you probably should be able to do it when you're not under pressure out of combat. And we eventually got there. Like in the end, the mount dismount is technically something you do at like the beginning of combat.
Right.
But it's also something you do when you're dismounting into a stressful situation, like you're trying to eat the.
Right.
So there's no real reason to limit them specifically to those combat exchanges.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought they were good enough. Like part of it is just, as with any theater of the mind thing, it was clear at times we were kind of picturing the combats differently.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of like, oh, I thought you were like way behind me, and I'm in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was trying
Yeah, I
to.
mean, but that's all theater of the mind.
Yeah.
It always comes up that you don't know where people are, how far things are from you because you can't see it.
Yeah. And like this system is meant to be more of like a theater of the mind
Hmm.
rather than like, more crunchy. So that's kind of why I avoided using maps.
Right. Or like a concrete example was, I assumed, like when we're wandering around Zaofu, I assumed these giant hallways where Tycho could easily walk up the hallway. And at one point, Tony's like, "Oh, and your bicycle can fit in here?" And I'm like, "Of course he can. Giant hallways."
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair. I'll take that into account next time. But yeah.
But I enjoyed it a lot. Well, and like I said, I'm still kind of thinking through the implications of it.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't always do that with every campaign I'm in.
Good.
Yeah, seems to be a sort of weird system. I mean, my biggest problem, because I came in late partially, is I never really got the system. And so half the time I was sort of floundering as to, I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to get there from here.
Yeah, and that's what a GM is. That's what I'm here to help you with. I thought you did. I thought you did great.
Right, but I am very used to. I'm in the same boat on that, and I'm very used to the D&D system where I know what I want to do, and I know mechanically how it's done in the system.
Yeah.
So that sometimes you have to like fudge the rules or come up with like an alternate role or an alternate use of a skill. It doesn't work like D&D in that regard. I think the system works fine. I think you just have to be flexible with it. And it took me a while to realize that I just have to ask to do things and then we figure out how to do it rather than look at my character sheet and see, oh, I can do that thing. And so I'll do that thing in this exchange. In some ways, is a better system conceptually than, being limited to what is specifically written on your character sheet. But it's a different system, so it took a little bit of getting used to for me.
It took you getting used to run it. Like
Right.
it's like a paradigm shift in some ways, and I was struggling with it for a little while before I kind of figured it out. But yeah, like ideally, it's like you're describing the stories, and then like me as a GM will be, wait, let's make a roll for that, and it's more like just me interposing at times and kind of like pushing things rather than like, to your point, like here are the set things you can do.
Right. Like whereas D&D, I would say, is a really rules focused system. This is much more geared towards improv, where you need the DM to basically be like yes and or yes but, rather than in D&D, a lot of things come down to like, no, you can't do that. There's no rule for that. Like, no, you can't jump on the dragon's neck and try to strangle it. There's no strangulation rule.
Talking to the wrong person there. Pete's got a character in our Saturday night campaign who's apparently tries to strangle everything. Picked up proficiency in garrote and is happily trying to strangle everything. When he's not biting, by the way.
One of these days it'll work.
Oh, it was really fun.
Well, obviously rules don't apply to Peter.
Right. What are they? They just get in the way of my fun.
Yeah. It was, I thought, so one thing I want to call out, and I, especially watching the videos and taking the summaries and all that, like, you guys RP'd. I mean, you all are experienced players, obviously. We've all played together, but, like, there was a lot of interaction that I don't always see in different games. So, like, I thought all your RP was really good. Like, the situations were sometimes hilarious. They were hilarious, and you guys really played off of each other. And, like, it was just kind of like the lack of rules just let, like, that RP happen. And I thought it was really fun. It was really fun to watch, and I would, whenever you guys laughed in the videos, I was laughing watching it, like, at the exact time. Like, it was still just as funny watching it, like, however many days later as it was when we were doing it. But
Yeah, a lot of times those are even in D&D. Like, you know, three of you are obviously in other groups I've played with. Like the game where I DM, a lot of my favorite moments are just moments where the players were RPing amongst themselves. Like where Mike's character was just in an argument over whether or not his god was real with Hellweir in a hallway at an inn for like 2 hours. These two players would just argue about the paladin character's god.
Lushiro.
Yeah, and Hellweir.
Yeah, that was great. Well, it is late, so let you guys go. Thanks for playing again.
Thanks for running.
Yeah, thanks for running, man.
Quite fun.
Anytime. I'm gonna get. I got something special in mind. When you get a chance, send me a 2-sentence description of your character. Like I got the Mid-Journey pictures, but send me a formal description and
Like a
Or-
physical
a
description.
physical description.
Got it.
Of in this game.
Final form. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right.